The story begins in a quiet village nestled in the Pune district of Maharashtra. In the small tehsil of Velhe lies a village named Gunjarde, home to the historic Rajgad Fort, perched atop the hills. This ancient fort has silently witnessed centuries of events unfold. The incident took place on June 18, 2023. That afternoon, a few passers-by were walking near the fort when they suddenly noticed a strange smell in the air. The odor kept growing stronger, making them uneasy. Driven by curiosity, they began searching for the source of the smell. As they moved closer, what they saw left them shocked and horrified. A lifeless body lay at the foot of the hill, abandoned and exposed to nature. It was clear that the unbearable stench was coming from this decomposing body. The sight was disturbing enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. Without wasting any time, the passers-by contacted the local police. Soon after receiving the report, a team from the Velhe police station arrived at the scene. It was mid-June, and the scorching summer heat had taken a toll on the surroundings. The body had been lying there for quite some time in the open, and the heat had accelerated its decomposition. Insects buzzed around it, and signs suggested that watching animals might have come here on the body of a woman. Multiple wounds and marks were visible across the body, especially on the head, where a deep injury hinted at a powerful blow with a hard object. Looking at the condition of the body and the scene, the investigation team was certain this was no ordinary accident. But who was this woman? How did she end up in such a remote and dangerous place? These questions still remained unanswered. The police quickly reached the scene and called in forensic experts for assistance. The surrounding area was thoroughly examined in hopes of uncovering vital clues. During the investigation, about 50 to 60 meters from the fort, officers discovered a mobile phone, a pair of glasses, and a white shoe. It was suspected that these items belonged to the woman whose body was found. The police also reached out to nearby police stations for any missing person reports. Soon they received information from Singed Road Police Station about a complaint that had been filed regarding a missing young woman. On June 14th, 4 days before the discovery, a couple had reported their daughter missing. Upon receiving this update, the investigating team contacted the family and informed them that an unidentified female body had been found at the base of Rajgad Fort. The family was asked to come to the scene to try to identify the body. The news sent shockwaves through the family and they rushed to the location. Although the body was in poor condition due to decomposition, the facial features were still somewhat recognizable. With just one glance, the family identified her. It was their daughter, Darshana Pawar. Her clothes, the mobile phone, glasses, and shoes all matched. At this point, the police confirmed that the body was indeed Darshana's. As part of the investigation, the body was sent for autopsy. However, the circumstances remained unclear. Was this simply an accident, or was there a deeper mystery behind her death? Just as the police were searching for answers, another crucial piece of information surfaced. On June 15th, a missing person report had been filed at Malwadi police station about a young man named Rahul Hondore. When the police contacted Rahul's family, even more shocking details began to emerge. It was soon revealed that Darshana and Rahul were close friends. On the morning of June 12th, they had set out together for a trekking trip to Rajgad Fort, but after that, both of them went missing. When their families tried to contact them, Darshana's phone rang a few times before it got switched off. The same thing happened with Rahul's phone. It too became unreachable shortly after. The following day, on June 13th, both families went to Rajgad Fort in search of their children. Since Darshana had told her family about her trekking plans, they knew exactly where to start looking. Similarly, Rahul's family also had an idea about his whereabouts. But even after extensive searching, both Darshana and Rahul remained missing. The mystery deepened, and the police began looking for new leads. Fear and anxiety began to spread among both families. Desperate for answers, they made multiple visits to Rajgad Fort, spoke with locals, and searched throughout the area. Over the next 2 days, they kept searching on their own, but no trace of the two could be found. Finally, on June 14th, Darshana's family filed a missing person report at the Singed Road police station, while Rahul's family filed a similar report on June 15th at the Malwadi police station. It was now confirmed that Darshana and Rahul had come to the fort together. While Darshana's body had been found, Rahul was still missing. This led the police to believe that if something tragic had happened to Darshana, Rahul might have met a similar fate. There was growing concern that he might be in danger too. With no solid clues from the scene, the police started checking nearby hospitals to see if Rahul had been admitted anywhere, but they found nothing. This raised more questions. If something unnatural had occurred, why did it happen only to Darshana? Why was Rahul still missing? These uncertainties left investigators puzzled. To find answers, the police first traced the phone locations of both Darshana and Rahul. Records showed that both phones were last active at Rajgad Fort on the morning of June 12th, before being switched off completely. Then, on June 19th, Darshana's autopsy report arrived. It confirmed what the investigators had suspected all along. Her injuries were not consistent with an accident. The nature of the wounds strongly indicated that foul play was involved. The autopsy report revealed that Darshana had sustained multiple injuries that indicated she had been attacked with a hard object. There were marks on her head and neck, suggesting prolonged physical trauma. It was evident that she had suffered for quite some time before her death. In light of these findings, the forensic team visited Rajgad Fort for a closer inspection. At the location where they suspected Darshana had been thrown off, they discovered traces of her body on large rocks nearby. These signs led investigators to believe she had been struck on the head with a stone before being pushed. Following this development, the police formed 5 separate investigation teams, each comprising 5 officers, making a total of 25 personnel dedicated solely to this case. Each team was assigned a specific task. One team was tasked with interrogating Darshana and Rahul's families, tracing their relationship and recent movements. Another team focused on technical aspects, analyzing call records, retrieving CCTV footage, and examining digital data. Investigators stated that important information came to light through inquiries into Darshana's personal connections and communications around the time of the incident. To understand more about her life, police reached out to her family and began building a complete profile of her background. Darshana Pawar had grown up in a town called Kopargaon in Maharashtra's Ahmednagar district. She came from a modest, middle-class family. Her father worked as a driver at a local sugar mill, while her mother was a homemaker who managed the household. Rahul Hundore also belonged to a middle-class background. He was from Shah village in the Sinnar region of Nashik. Although his family's roots were in Nashik, Rahul lived in Ahmednagar, quite close to Darshana's home. Interestingly, Darshana's maternal uncle's house was in Nashik, right across from Rahul's family home. There was a distant familial connection between the two households. Rahul and Darshana had been close friends since childhood. They grew up together, attended the same school and college, and even graduated together. Both were bright students, but they came from financially humble backgrounds. Despite the challenges, Darshana's family never compromised on her education. Once they completed their graduation, both Rahul and Darshana decided to prepare for government job exams, particularly the Maharashtra Public Service Commission, MPSC, exams. However, since Ahmednagar lacked quality coaching institutes, they made the decision to move to a bigger city, where better facilities were available for competitive exam preparation. Darshana informed her family about the plan. Initially, her parents were worried, but they eventually agreed to send her. Rahul also visited Darshana's home and assured her family that he would be studying at the same coaching institute. So the two of them set off together for their new academic journey, arranging to stay in separate rooms while attending the same institute. Darshana had a singular goal in life: to achieve something big. She was entirely focused on her studies and dedicated herself wholeheartedly. Her hard work soon paid off when she secured the 3rd rank in the MPSC examination. Her success brought immense pride to her family, and she quickly became well known in her hometown and village. Meanwhile, Rahul's family had high hopes for him too. He had been working hard, but unfortunately, he did not clear the exam due to a lower score. Darshana was selected for the position of Range Forest Officer, RFO, a post she had long dreamed of. A few months later, she returned home and continued her studies from there. From a young age, Darshana was known for her intelligence and strong determination. She firmly believed that education and hard work were the only means through which she could change her life and achieve something remarkable. Meanwhile, Rahul Hundore, Darshana's childhood friend who lived near her family, was equally hardworking. Having studied together since school, they practically grew up side by side. Their bond was more than just friendship. They were complements to each other. Meanwhile, Rahul was working as a food delivery boy to continue his studies. Due to Darshana's success, the entire media had come to know about her. Now, when the news of her disappearance came to light, the local police began searching for her. The police tried to find out whether there were any CCTV cameras on the route they had taken to Rajgarh Fort. However, since it was a rural area, there weren't many CCTV cameras along the road. But suddenly, the police found one CCTV camera. It was in front of a hotel, where a CCTV camera was installed. When the police checked the footage from the morning of June 12th, they saw Darshana and her friend Rahul passing that way. At that time, their mobile phones were found to be switched off. Analyzing that moment, the police discovered that around 8:30 a.m. on June 12th, Darshana and Rahul were seen riding a motorcycle. Rahul was driving the bike, and Darshana was sitting behind him. Later, when the police examined more CCTV footage, they found that at around 10 a.m., Rahul was returning home alone from Rajgarh Fort. They had gone together, but only Rahul came back. This made the police suspicious of Rahul. They started wondering if Rahul was somehow involved in the incident. Meanwhile, the police contacted the place where Rahul used to work. From there, they found out that Rahul hadn't shown up for work since June 12th. This information deepened the police's suspicion of Rahul even further. As police began connecting the dots, they started suspecting that Darshana's death might somehow be linked to Rahul. It was hard to believe such an incident could happen without his involvement. Until Rahul was found, the complete truth of the case couldn't be uncovered. The police dedicated all their resources to locating Rahul. Being from a humble background, they believed Rahul couldn't have gone too far, especially since he didn't have a job or significant financial means. Investigators contacted Rahul's family, who revealed that at times Rahul used to receive cash or bank transfers. He even had a personal bank account. Based on this lead, the police decided to pull up his bank transaction history to trace any recent activity. Since June 12th, Rahul had been missing, and by now it was June 19th or 20. About a week had passed. When the police reviewed his bank transaction history during this time, they discovered that Rahul had withdrawn money from an ATM in Delhi. This led them to believe that he might be hiding somewhere in Delhi. Around the same time, Rahul's phone was suddenly switched on. He called an acquaintance and said, "I've left the city. I had a fight with a friend, and now I'm leaving forever. Don't try to look for me." Upon hearing this, the police realized Rahul might be trying to flee permanently. The technical team began tracking his phone. When it was briefly switched on again, it pinged from Kolkata. But within a short time, it was turned off once more. Now the police decided to go all in to locate Rahul. They activated their network of secret informants and surveillance teams. Multiple reports of Rahul sightings started coming in. In some places, people claimed to have seen him, but by the time the police reached those locations, Rahul had already vanished. Finally, on the night of June 21st, the police received a tip from an undercover source that Rahul had been seen around Andheri railway station. They wasted no time, informed the local police, and rushed to the area. There, they successfully apprehended Rahul. He was brought to the station for questioning. To the police's surprise, Rahul didn't resist much during interrogation. He started opening up easily. Eventually, Rahul confessed to the crime. He admitted, "Whatever happened to Darshana Pawar, I was responsible for it." This revelation shocked everyone. Darshana, who was on the verge of becoming a government officer, had filled her family with hope and pride, and Rahul, within seconds, shattered it all. But how could he do something like this? Darshana and Rahul had been close friends since childhood. Their bond was deep and genuine. They shared everything with each other: school, college, dreams, and even their struggles. They started preparing for competitive exams together, joined the same coaching center, and had countless discussions about life and the future. Over time, without realizing it, they had fallen in love with each other. However, they never confessed it, thinking they would figure things out once their studies were over and their futures were clearer. Even their friends knew that the two liked each other. When Darshana topped the MPSC exams, Rahul proposed marriage to her. Darshana discussed it with her parents, but they clearly said no. The reason? Rahul had not cleared the exams, and his future was uncertain. Although they liked Rahul as a person, they didn't want their daughter to marry someone who lacked stability or a secure future. After that, Darshana slowly began to distance herself from Rahul. She returned to her hometown, while Rahul stayed in the city. They began speaking less, even over the phone, and a growing emotional distance became evident. Rahul couldn't accept this change. He felt humiliated and rejected. And when Darshana turned 24, her family began looking for marriage proposals. When Rahul found out her family had rejected him as a suitor, He went to Darshana's house to speak to her parents, but they were firm. "We don't want this marriage." Darshana was present during this conversation, and her silence made it clear to Rahul that she too no longer wished to marry him. For Rahul, this was deeply humiliating. He left quietly, but with a heart full of pain and resentment. That humiliation turned into a desire for revenge. On June 9th, Darshana received a call from her coaching center. She was invited to attend a felicitation event scheduled for June 11th, where she was to be honored for her achievements. There, Rahul met her again. He spoke sweetly, trying to win her back. He even proposed, "We've been friends since childhood. Let's go for a trip together, just you and me." Darshana, trusting him as a friend, agreed. On the morning of June 12th, she informed her family that she was going on a day trip with a friend, but didn't mention Rahul's name. Perhaps she knew that if her parents found out it was Rahul, they wouldn't allow her to go. Between 8 and 8:30 a.m., Rahul picked her up on his bike and took her to Rajgad Fort. Once there, Rahul once again proposed marriage. Darshana clearly told him, "I don't want to marry you," but Rahul had come prepared. In his mind, there were only two options. If Darshana agreed, everything would be fine. But if she rejected him again, he had already decided what he would do next. Rahul began to physically assault Darshana. First, he approached her with a sharp object. At one point, Darshana fell to the ground. Then, Rahul picked up a heavy stone and started hitting her. After that, he pressed his hands around her neck until she could no longer breathe. A few moments later, when he was certain she was dead, he threw her body down from Rajgad Fort. At the spot where the argument took place, Darshana's phone, her glasses, and one of her shoes were found. Rahul first turned off her phone, possibly because someone from her family had tried to call her during the altercation, and he didn't want any interference. He then threw the phone, her glasses, and her shoe down the hillside. After that, he turned off his own phone and left the area on his bike. Rahul returned to his room, packed a few belongings, and took a train to Sangli. From there, he boarded another train to Madgaon, Goa, then traveled to Chandigarh, and finally made his way to Howrah. He kept moving from place to place, occasionally contacting relatives through borrowed phones to avoid being tracked. However, when he ran low on cash, he withdrew money from an ATM in Delhi, which gave police a new lead. After reaching Howrah, he roamed around for a while. Eventually, on June 21st, he reached Andheri railway station in Mumbai. From there, he kept moving around, using other people's phones occasionally to avoid detection. But at one point, he turned on his own phone, and as soon as the signal pinged from Kolkata, the police began tracking him. The authorities became fully active. After many attempts and several near misses, they finally arrested Rahul on the night of June 21st at Andheri railway station. Upon interrogation, he confessed that the motive behind the murder was one-sided love and unfulfilled expectations. Rahul was deeply in love with Darshana, but when she began to drift away after securing her government job, it ignited a storm of frustration and hurt in him. His rejection by her family added fuel to that anger. For Rahul, this wasn't just heartbreak, it was humiliation. And instead of walking away, he chose revenge. During his escape, Rahul discarded the clothes he was wearing at various places while traveling on trains and buses. The sharp weapon, helmet, bike, and several other items used in the crime were recovered by the police. However, the exact outfit Rahul wore during the incident has not yet been found. Police have not given any clear updates about this yet. On June 22nd, the police held a press conference where they shared the complete investigation details, making everything crystal clear. And with that, our story comes to an end.
What we saw today was not just a crime, it was a warning. It showed us that even people close to us can hide bad intents, and a small choice can change our lives. Simple things like trusting someone too much or ignoring warning sign can be dangerous. Today's story tells us to listen to our gut feeling and be careful. We should never forget about our own safety. Are you watching what's happening around you every day? It's not just a fear, it's about being smart. Who do you trust? Where do you go? What are you doing to stay safety? Because in real life, we don't get a second chance. There is no rewind. One wrong choice can change everything, but one right step can save you and your loved one. We will keep sharing real stories that don't just shock you, but teach you. Teach you how to stay safety, protect your space, and make smart choice. Subscribe now turn on the bell icon and stay with us on this journey of learning and safety. Until next time, stay alert, stay safe, and stay smart. Thanks for watching.